Hi folks, Vince here with the Tinker's Workshop. I thought I'd do a quick video today on wooden mallets in the woodworking shop. And this is an assortment of mallets that I've picked up over the years. Some of these are purchased and some of them are actually ones that are shop made that I made in my own shop. They all have one thing in common though, and that is that they are made out of a wood known as Lignum Vitae. And Lignum Vitae is generally considered the densest, hardest wood on earth. So it makes an ideal wood for a mallet. And I thought I'd talk a little bit more about styles of mallets and what they're used for, as well as the Lignum Vitae wood specifically. So I've got a few samples here of Lignum Vitae, a couple of turning blanks. These are coated in wax, so they maybe look a little shiny. And then I have a small section of an actual log or trunk from a Lignum Vitae tree. But they show the typical coloring. The heartwood tends to be anything from sort of an olive green to a light brown to a dark, almost black color, dark brown up to black. And then the sapwood is almost always this very light, kind of cream colored look. And it actually is kind of a neat contrast when you have the two together. Typically most people like the heartwood just because it's darker, but I think it's kind of striking to see the contrast between the two. Lignum Vitae is a tropical hardwood that grows primarily in the Caribbean on islands such as Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Bermuda. It will grow as far north as the southern tip of Florida and as far south as the northern coast of South America, but most of the commercially harvested Lignum Vitae came out of the Caribbean area. Lignum Vitae, the name means tree of life, and it was given that name because the bark of the tree has some medicinal purposes. You could take the bark and outer layer of wood and make a tea out of it, and it was supposed to have some healing properties. It was actually used at one time to treat syphilis, as well as many other ailments. I don't know how much scientific truth there is to the efficacy of that, but that's where it got its name. So the tree is very small and slow growing and extremely dense and hard, as I mentioned. The wood from Lignum Vitae trees has several properties that make it ideal for certain applications. It's extremely oily and won't rot when submerged underwater, so that makes it perfect for uses in maritime industry. It was often used as a bearing material for propeller shafts for boats and ships. It was actually even used on some nuclear submarines as a bearing material for the shafts. Obviously it's been supplanted by more modern materials in the modern era, but for many years it was used for those purposes. Because it's so hard and dense, it was also used for truncheons or billy clubs for police officers, primarily in England. It was used to make lawn bowls or bocce balls. It's used for polo mallets. It's been used for mortar and pestles for grinding herbs or medicines. And it's, like I said earlier, it's used commonly for mallets. You can make a mallet out of any hard wood really, but typically over time they start to disintegrate as the more you use them, they just kind of wear out and splinter. Whereas Lignum Vitae, being as hard as it is, it will last a very long time without wearing out. Lignum Vitae trees have been over-harvested over the years, and it's gotten to the point now where they are actually considered an endangered species. So it's becoming more and more difficult to find Lignum Vitae lumber here, especially in the States. The export of the wood has been severely curtailed, if not banned altogether. There is some stock still in the States that was brought over before the ban, so you can find some pieces, but it's getting harder and harder to locate true Lignum Vitae. And I guess I should point that out, that there are two species that are considered genuine Lignum Vitae, and they both start with the scientific name of Guaiacum. There's Guaiacum officinale and Guaiacum sanctus, and those are the only two true Lignum Vitaes. you'll often see something sold as Lignum Vitae, or it's often called Argentine Lignum Vitae or Vero wood. And it's very similar to genuine Lignum Vitae, but it's actually a totally different species altogether. So it's not, it works as a substitute, but it's not the original Lignum Vitae. And that also is becoming harder and harder to find. It's becoming more endangered, and there are restrictions being placed on that. So I think in a few years it's going to be to the point where you won't be able to find either the guaiacum or the other species of what's called Lignum Vitae. I've got a piece of Lignum Vitae here, and I cut a piece of white oak to the same approximate dimensions. I think the white oak actually maybe is a little bit thicker, but just for comparison, let's go ahead and weigh these. The white oak comes in at right about 5.5 ounces, and the lignum is 8 ounces. So what is that? About 50% heavier. The lignum is 50% heavier than the white oak, and white oak is actually one of the heavier of our domestic hardwoods, so it just goes to show you how much denser and heavier the lignum is. Lignum Vitae is also one of the few woods that is so dense, it's got a specific gravity over 1. It's actually one of the few woods that sinks in water. So let's drop the oak in first, and you can see that floats. Drop the lignum in, and it sinks right to the bottom. So the first style of mallet I want to take a look at is generally just called a round or barrel mallet, obviously because of the shape. And this is one actually that I made. It's made out of, the head is made out of Lignum Vitae, and then the handle is hickory. But I like this style of mallet just as a general purpose mallet for use in the shop for knocking joints together. Anytime I need to persuade something. You never want to use a wood mallet for actually hitting nails or anything that's going to damage the mallet. So it's only used on wood or softer materials. Occasionally, if the only thing handy, I think we're probably all guilty of grabbing a mallet and using it for a purpose it wasn't intended for, but this is one that I keep on my bench just because it's so handy. I like the size. I have this other one here that's just a monster. Honestly, I don't know what I'd really use it for when you compare the two. It's just gigantic. Looks like it'd be used for driving stakes on tent poles for a circus tent or something. It's just massive, so it's kind of cool to have around, but I don't really use this one a whole lot. The next style of mallet is commonly known as a cabinetmakers or joiner's mallet, and these typically have this trapezoidal shaped head. It's also tapered in cross section this way. These are both made by Stanley, and they're not marked with the Stanley name, but they do have numbers. There's a number 12 here and a number 11, and those were the Stanley item numbers from their catalog. I think these were made up until the 40s or 50s. So this type of mallet is actually more suited for striking chisels than the round mallet. And let me kind of reposition here, and I'll show you why. Okay, here's why the Cabinetmakers Mallet really makes more sense than round mallet for hitting chisels. Here's the round mallet, and as you come down, your hand swings in an arc, but in order to hit the top of the chisel squarely, you have to really hyperextend your wrist and hand like that, and it's just really not a very comfortable position, especially if you're doing a lot of whacking on the chisels. So the trapezoidal shape of the joiners or cabinetmaker's mallet makes it a lot more natural when you're swinging that arc. It just comes down and hits, and you're not doing this kind of a movement with your hand. It's more of a inline process. So that right there makes this a more preferred mallet for doing chisel work with bench chisels. Now let's move on to the carving mallets. All right, this is a selection of carving mallets I have of all shapes and different sizes, weights, but they're all distinguished by the fact that they have a round turned head. Most of them taper in length. These are two that I actually made. This one I patterned after a blue spruce mallet. I was at the handwork show and had a chance to handle one of the blue spruce mallets, and I really liked the feel of it and the weight. But I didn't really care for the price. Not that it's not worth it, but it was just a little bit more than I could afford. So I made this based off the shape of the blue spruce, and it actually weighs in right at 16 ounces, and that's because this Lignum Vitae is so dense and heavy. I think blue spruce uses a resin-infused maple on their mallets in order to give them the weight that they have, but that's the advantage of using Lignum, is that it's heavy on its own, so you can get quite a bit of weight in a smaller head size. This is another one that I turned out of Lignum. Both of these actually were made out of recycled lawn bowls, so I might do a video on making a mallet out of a lawn bowl as another video. But these are all purchased mallets, and several of them are ones that were turned out of a single piece of wood. I don't know if you look at the ones I made, the head is Lignum, and then the handle, I think I used ash for these handles and wedged them in. So the handle actually, there's a hole through the head, and then the handle runs all the way through. But these commercial ones, these often come out of Haiti. I think this one's even stamped Haiti on there. But they're usually turned out of a branch of the tree, so they're almost all sapwood. There's just a tiny little bit of heartwood you can see there, and it runs through the handle. And because they're made out of just kind of unstable branches, they tend to warp a little bit. Not sure if you can see that, but it just starts to warp, so it's not straight anymore. Here's another one turned the same way. Tiny little bit of heartwood right there, and then the rest is sapwood. This also shows another characteristic of Lignum, probably one of the downsides of Lignum. It tends to check like this, and it doesn't look good, but the fact that Lignum has a very interlocking grain structure, so you can get these checks or cracks and the mallet will still hold together because the grain is so interlocked. And it's very common to see these kinds of checks, especially since the wood is coming from a moist tropical climate, and then when you bring it into North America, especially in the middle of the continent where I am, it's a lot drier, so the wood starts to crack like this. You can see this one's got a pretty good size crack in it as well, but you can go ahead and use these even with the cracks. It really doesn't hurt anything unless the crack starts to run all the way through, obviously, and then it'll split on you. But almost all of these have some kind of checking or cracks in them, including the ones that I made. After I turned them, they started to develop little hairline checks in them, but again, that's pretty common. I know you can keep them in a plastic bag. People say that'll sort of help prevent the checking, or keep them coated with wax. That can help too, but I just go ahead and use them like this. The carving mallets are round, primarily because when you're using them with a carving tool, it's different than hitting a bench chisel, because as you're carving, you're not necessarily having to give it a straight square blow each time. You might just be, depending on how you're holding the tool, you're tapping it, moving it around. So it doesn't, you don't want to have to worry about holding the mallet properly oriented to the end of the chisel, and having a round mallet allows you just to pick it up and you can just start tapping the chisel away and not have to worry that you're getting nice square blows. I do actually use this mallet with bench chisels as well. If I have to make really heavy repeated blows, I'll use the Joiners or Cabinetmakers Mallet, but for a lot of other things, I do like these round mallets, just because, like I said, you don't have to be quite as focused on the way you're holding the mallet as you're using it. So that's a look at Lignum Vitae mallets. I know you can make mallets out of just about any hardwood you choose. People make them out of burls and Osage orange and all kinds of wood. I'm not saying that this is the best or the only wood to use, but just something that I find interesting, and I hope you did too. And thanks for watching.